Our story begins in the late 1800s, steeped in tragedy and fueled by whispers of curses. This is the tale of Sarah Winchester, widow of the wealthy firearms magnate William Wirt Winchester. Born into privilege and luxury, Sarah's life took a dark turn after she married into the renowned Winchester family, an empire built on the creation of the weapon that would become infamous as the gun that won the West. Tragedy struck when tuberculosis claimed the life of her husband, William, in 1881, just a few short years after the death of their only daughter, Annie, who had passed away in infancy from marasmus. These successive losses shattered Sarah, plunging her into a deep, consuming grief. But grief alone wasn't what tormented her. Whispers among spiritualists claimed that the family was cursed, a belief that preyed on Sarah's fragile state of mind. It was during this period of despair that she sought out a spiritual medium in Boston, desperate for some insight into her relentless misfortune. The medium, whose eyes seemed to pierce beyond the veil of the living, delivered a chilling prophecy. The spirits of those who had perished at the hands of Winchester rifles were exacting their revenge. There was only one way to stave off their anger, he warned. Sarah must build a house to appease these spirits, a house that would never be completed. And so, in 1886, Sarah moved to San Jose, California, and found an unfinished farmhouse set amidst the rolling fields. From this modest structure, the Winchester Mystery House began to grow, a home unlike any other, shaped by grief, superstition, and an unwavering need to evade the ghosts she believed shadowed her every step. Construction commenced at an almost maniacal pace. Carpenters worked day and night, year-round, as the mansion grew skyward and outward in a chaotic sprawl of rooms, turrets, and corridors. Blueprints were unheard of, replaced by Sarah's mysterious sketches and whispered instructions. What emerged was a labyrinth so perplexing that even its builders admitted to getting lost within its walls. But to Sarah, this was more than just a project. Every stairway that led to nowhere, every door that opened to a sheer drop, every window looking out to another room, these were defenses, labyrinthine tricks meant to confuse and confound the restless souls who sought her. To outsiders, the house was a testament to eccentricity, perhaps even madness. Rumors spread that Sarah was either cursed or communing with spirits who directed her architectural whims. But for Sarah, each nail hammered was an act of defiance, a declaration that she would not be overcome by the unseen forces that haunted her. The whispers of her supposed madness only intensified when neighbors began to report seeing strange lights flickering at odd hours. Carriage wheels rumbled down the drive long after the workers had gone home, as though unseen visitors attended secret midnight meetings. What, or who, kept Sarah company in those lonely, moonlit halls? The answers, if any, stayed locked away behind the mansion's intricate facades. Thus began the story of a house that would never rest, and a woman who refused to surrender to the ghosts of her past. In 1886, as the first beams were set into place, it became clear that this house was unlike any other. Construction of the Winchester Mystery House began not with plans, but with purpose, a relentless drive fueled by fear and sorrow. Sarah Winchester, haunted by what she believed were spirits of those who had fallen to her family's rifles, was determined to build a sanctuary and a maze, all in one. To the workers, the mansion was a marvel and a mystery. It seemed there was no end to the demands of the reclusive widow. Day and night, the sound of hammers, saws, and voices echoing instructions filled the estate. The construction paused for neither holidays nor weather, and what started as an 8-room farmhouse soon spiraled into a mansion with hundreds of rooms, spanning 7 stories at its peak. But this was no ordinary construction. Inside the house, logic seemed to take a back seat to labyrinthine confusion. Staircases wound up only to end abruptly at ceilings. Doors opened into walls, and hallways twisted, leading nowhere. An observer might wonder, why build a staircase that rose only a few feet before stopping? Why install doors that led to a fall from the 3rd floor into the garden below? These oddities weren't mistakes. They were intentional, woven into the structure by Sarah herself, who believed that misleading the ghosts was the only way to find peace. Each night, after the workers left, Sarah would sit by candlelight, blueprints forgotten, sketching new, mysterious plans on scraps of paper. These designs were passed to her foreman in the morning without explanation, only directives. It wasn't just the bizarre construction that raised eyebrows. Visitors to the estate spoke of strange occurrences, distant piano notes playing softly in the dead of night, footsteps echoing in empty corridors, the occasional sight of a shadow slipping silently past the corner of one's eye. The construction workers shared stories, too, stories of tools moved or lost, sounds that seemed to follow them as they worked. Some even quit, unable to withstand the unsettling feeling that they were being watched by unseen eyes. By the 1900s, word of the Winchester mansion had spread far beyond San Jose. Tales of the widow's obsession with appeasing spirits fascinated the public. What fueled such endless construction? Why did Sarah consult no architects, no draftsmen? Why did she insist that work continue without rest, as though the very act of stopping would bring about some unspeakable consequence? The house was not without splendor. Despite its chaotic design, there were areas of breathtaking beauty. Stained glass windows, imported from Europe, cast fragmented rainbows across intricate parquet floors. Ornate chandeliers hung from ceilings, and in one room, a window bore an inscription from Shakespeare's Richard II, "These same thoughts people this little world." To many, it was an eerie echo of Sarah's reality, a world within walls, peopled by thoughts and ghosts. But grandeur couldn't mask the strangeness. The most baffling feature of all was the séance room, the heart of Sarah's nightly rituals. She would sit in this small, enclosed chamber with one entrance and 3 exits, all designed to deceive and mislead. Here, she supposedly communed with the spirits, seeking their counsel on what additions the house needed next. Was she a prisoner of her own making, or a master weaving her world to ward off unseen tormentors? What kept her going through years of isolation and construction? Some said it was guilt, others madness, but many believed it was genuine terror, a belief that she had glimpsed a realm beyond this life, where restless souls awaited their due. And so the hammers never ceased, their rhythmic pounding a chorus of defiance against whatever forces haunted Sarah Winchester. Day after day, the house grew, a monstrous maze with rooms sealed off, a labyrinth meant to confuse the living and the dead alike. The construction continued, ceaseless and bewildering, as though the building itself held secrets that were better left unspoken. As the years passed and construction stretched into decades, the reputation of the Winchester Mystery House grew ever more sinister. The sprawling, maze-like mansion had become an object of fascination and fear, whispered about by townsfolk and the curious alike. What secrets did it hold? Why did Sarah refuse to stop building, even for a day? The workers who toiled within its walls told stories that made the hair on their neck stand on end. One carpenter, who had been with the project for several years, swore he heard the gentle patter of feet behind him whenever he worked in the attic, though he knew no one was there. Others spoke of sudden chills sweeping through the halls, of tools that vanished only to reappear in different rooms, and of the inexplicable sound of a faint voice humming a mournful tune. Visitors and staff alike experienced unsettling phenomena. One former maid recalled an instance when she turned a corner and saw a figure standing at the end of a hallway, silent, unmoving, its face shrouded in shadow. She blinked, and it was gone. The house seemed alive, as though it had absorbed the energy of its creator and the hundreds of souls Sarah believed she was protecting herself from. Even skeptics admitted to feeling an uneasy presence, as if they were being watched by eyes they couldn't see. The most persistent tales revolved around Sarah herself. After her death in 1922, when workers found the blueprints of the house scattered in her study, they also discovered journals filled with cryptic notes and indecipherable drawings. It seemed that Sarah's obsession was deeper and darker than anyone had imagined. Had she truly been guided by spirits, or was she haunted by guilt and grief twisted into something more? In the years that followed her passing, reports of ghostly activity only increased. Those brave enough to wander the mansion after dark told of doors creaking open on their own, sudden drops in temperature, and the sound of a far-off piano playing a single, somber chord. The séance room, where Sarah spent countless nights speaking to whatever unseen forces influenced her, became a focal point of paranormal investigations. One legend claims that Sarah designed the house as a spiritual trap, a prison for the vengeful spirits of those who died by the rifle's barrel. Ghost stories flourished, lending the house an aura of foreboding. On moonless nights, shadows seemed to flicker in the uppermost windows, and some claimed to see a candle burning in Sarah's bedroom, the flame dancing as if in the presence of an unseen figure. An old groundskeeper, who stayed on the property for years after Sarah's death, said he could hear faint whispers when he passed by the closed doors of rooms that hadn't been opened in decades. "It's the house breathing," he'd say, eyes wide and haunted. It wasn't only the interior that held eerie surprises. The garden paths, which Sarah loved and walked frequently, also became the site of unexplained sightings. Visitors reported seeing a woman in black, dressed in the style of the late 19th century, wandering among the hedges and disappearing behind the towering palm trees. Sometimes, the scent of lavender, the perfume Sarah was known to wear, would drift on the breeze, though no flowers grew nearby. In one chilling account, a maintenance worker said he saw a spectral figure pushing a wheelbarrow filled with what appeared to be bricks and wood. The apparition walked with a steady, purposeful gait before vanishing at the wall where a window now stood. The stories of the wheelbarrow ghost spread, adding yet another layer to the house's haunted legacy. Who was he? A former worker compelled to finish a task never completed? Or an echo of the countless men who labored endlessly under Sarah's direction? Perhaps the most unsettling part of these stories is that they don't feel like relics of the past. Even today, guests on guided tours sometimes catch glimpses of fleeting figures, hear soft whispers, or feel a sudden, inexplicable chill. It is said that the house guards its secrets well, protecting them within its twisting, endless halls. The legends insist that the spirit Sarah Winchester believed she had trapped never truly left. They are waiting, wandering, perhaps still searching for the woman who built the mansion in their name. Today, the Winchester Mystery House stands as both a testament to human ingenuity and a chilling reminder of the lengths one can go when haunted by fear and guilt. It is a place where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs, where the air is thick with stories that span over a century. Those who visit feel its pull, an intangible sensation that something unseen is watching, waiting. The house itself is an architectural enigma, 24,000 square feet of twisting corridors, 160 rooms, 47 fireplaces, 10,000 panes of glass, and enough hidden passages to baffle even the most seasoned explorer. Each stair that leads nowhere, each closet that opens to reveal only solid wall, is a whisper of Sarah's obsession. Some rooms are impossibly small, designed as traps, while others are grand, decked out in the finest furnishings of the era. This was a home that defied logic, bending under the weight of a woman's attempt to outwit spirits that she believed followed her every move. For years, paranormal investigators, thrill-seekers, and historians have been drawn to the mansion, eager to uncover its mysteries. The seance room, with its hidden entrance and exit that led nowhere, remains the most perplexing symbol of Sarah's nightly rituals. Tour guides often speak in hushed tones as they recount the tales of visitors who reported feeling a presence brush past them or hearing a disembodied voice whisper their name. Even modern ghost hunters have tried their luck. Many leave the mansion with recordings of faint murmurs, flickering orbs on camera, or the unmistakable sound of footsteps on empty staircases. One particular investigation reported seeing a shadow darting across the walls of Sarah's bedroom, only for it to vanish the moment they shone a light on it. Was it an echo of Sarah herself, still trapped in the very house she never stopped building? Or one of the many souls she believed would never rest? The mansion's reputation has grown beyond its eerie corridors and spectral tales. It has become a symbol of how deeply grief can carve into the human soul and of the haunting need to make sense of loss and death. Yet, beyond the stories of tragedy and hauntings, there is a profound sadness woven into its walls. Some visitors claim that if you stand still long enough, you can hear the faint sound of a woman weeping, her sorrow suspended in time. But not all the legends are terrifying. Some say that Sarah built not just out of fear, but also out of hope, a hope that by adding to the mansion, she was making peace with those she believed her family had wronged. Each additional room and hallway was both an apology and a sanctuary, a way to keep the past at bay while hoping for forgiveness. The intricate stained glass windows, adorned with messages and quotes, hint at Sarah's yearning for understanding, such as the famous window bearing the words, "Wide unclasp the tables of their thoughts." It was as if she longed for the world to look beyond the rumors and into her heart. Yet, despite all the theories, one thing remains certain: the Winchester Mystery House is not just a relic of eccentricity but a story of human resilience in the face of fear and loss. The mansion is alive, not in the way of flesh and blood but in the stories whispered across generations, the shivers felt as one walks its halls, and the inexplicable feeling that perhaps, just perhaps, Sarah's spirit is still watching, ensuring her sanctuary remains intact. Those who leave the mansion often find themselves glancing back over their shoulder, half expecting to see a pale face peering from one of the ornate windows. The Winchester House, with all its sprawling, labyrinthine oddities, is a place where stories don't just live, they echo, reverberating through time like the phantom footsteps that still roam its halls. What was it that kept Sarah Winchester going through the sleepless nights and endless construction? Was it madness? Guilt? Or did she truly see the spirits that haunted her? The answers remained locked away within the house she built, a place where every wall holds a story, and every shadow might be more than just a trick of the light. So, as you pass through the final door and step back into the world outside, remember, not all mysteries have answers, and not all stories find peace. The Winchester Mystery House is both a puzzle that defies understanding and a haunting reminder that some ghosts, once invited, never truly leave.